Hey guys, it is MissSimReno. If you are returning to the channel, welcome back. And if you are brand new, I am so excited that you decided to join me here today for a very special speed build. And disclaimer, I am pre-recording this build, so the timeline when I kind of spell it out won't make sense, but here it goes. So I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, and I don't talk about it too much, but like dedicated fan. So dedicated. And this past weekend, this is the timeline. So this past weekend, I watched all of the Harry Potter movies. I had a huge marathon. I try to watch all of them at least once a year. Like I actually make a concentrated effort to do this. And I've also tried to read all of the books every single year. I don't always succeed because I end up getting exhausted by the time I reach the fifth one because there's such a jump from the third to the fourth in regards to length. But anyway, I try to basically immerse myself in the world of Harry Potter at least once every single year. And I just absolutely love everything about it. So I had that marathon this past weekend and I was like, you know what? I want to build something in The Sims. What should I build? And I ended up landing on the Quidditch Pitch. I know that someone's going to ask me to potentially build Hogwarts Castle. I was going to say tower. Hogwarts Castle. Let me just say that it was probably like maybe a year ago when the Pufferhead Stuff custom content pack was released and just spread like wildfire because it's incredible. And I did a room build with it and someone was like, you should build a castle. And I immediately was like, nope, I can't. Like, I do not have the skill set to do that. That is a huge undertaking and it would take me so long. And honestly, I don't want to do it in injustice. So I really don't think I'll be attempting Hogwarts Castle anytime soon. But I wanted to build something related to Harry Potter, something magical, because I was just in the mood, and I ended up landing on the Quidditch Pitch. So this is basically based off of how the Quidditch Pitch looks in the movies, not based on the description in the book. You know, I'm sure they're fairly close, right? But I did want to basically use some pictures for reference. Granted, it's an oval. I mean, it's kind of hard to mess it up. It is an oval, and there's just like these towers where students and other patrons who want to watch a Hogwarts Quidditch game can basically sit. So you can sit at the top of the towers or kind of along the bottom, which ends up being quote unquote fenced in for the sake of this build. But it was really fun to construct. It's a lot of repetition, so you guys are going to see a fair amount of transitions throughout this build because I cut out at least 5 to 10 minutes, and that's sped up time, 5 to 10 minutes of build time because it was all just like manual painting of the towers or copying over rooms and stuff like that. But I did leave some snippets in there so you guys can see kind of how I went about it. So right now, for example, I'm trying to find appropriate colors for each house and finding like yellows and reds, greens and blues, like not hard, but finding the different variations of maybe like gray or bronze for some of the houses was a little challenging. So it was really embarrassing. I had to use the Google machine to look up the frickin' house colors. I knew Gryffindor, I knew Slytherin, but I kind of forgot that Hufflepuff was yellow and black. I thought they were yellow and gray. Ravenclaw I actually thought was blue and silver, but it's blue and bronze. So just slight variations. I should have known. You can definitely question my dedication because I didn't know that stuff, but I tried to find colors that matched as closely as possible. And if you guys have seen the movies, obviously you know that these are a little bit more checkered in the movies, like small checkered pattern. But considering I used the tall wall heights, I couldn't really do it. I couldn't do it if I wanted to choose the colors, the checkered patterns and textures that we have in the kind of like wallpaper paneling, you know, that mode, that catalog. We don't have them in the appropriate colors for the Hogwarts houses. I mean, did I expect them to be there? No. But yeah, we didn't really have any that would work, so I ended up having to kind of take some creative liberty with the ways in which I painted the towers. But here I am pulling out a couple of armchairs from Realm of Magic to create little seating areas up here. Again, in the movies, these are much, much bigger. They have like multiple tiered benches, kind of like at a football stadium, so you could probably seat like 10 to 20 people in these towers in the movies. But again, for the proportions in The Sims, it would look really, really weird if I made these a lot bigger. So I just kind of made it proportional to the best of my ability. So I add these little armchairs and I tried to match them as best I could to the house colors, which I thought was kind of nice. And then I put a couple of candles and then these ribbon decorations because obviously we don't have the Hogwarts crests in The Sims either. Surprise, surprise. I wouldn't expect that. So I was trying to look for like a wall decoration that would kind of look like a pendant or a banner or something. And a lot of the pendants that we did have, or I don't know, any other kind of like wall decorations that had just like an emblem or a symbol on them, were more so the ones that I found from Get Together, because those are like the club symbols. Those just didn't really work though. They just didn't work. I just needed the colors. I didn't really need the symbols. So this was as close as I could get to that. And I basically placed one at the bottom of each tower, which I thought looked nice. And here I am fencing in some of these parts near the bottom of the towers, because that is where I end up placing some benches, because in the movies, that is where a lot of the fans will actually be standing and or sitting to watch a Quidditch game. So I thought that was kind of neat. And then I chose these pub banners. I guess they're kind of banners. They're like banners of pendants, right? I chose these from Get Together because they just kind of looked as though they fit the vibe. Granted, the colors don't really match the houses or anything. There is one that has like beer mugs and stuff on it because these do belong in pubs. And I was thinking that that was like butterbeer or something like that. And I thought it kind of worked. And I kind of stagger them a little bit in height so they're not just completely symmetrical. I feel like they were tossed up there by the fans in some way, shape, or form to kind of show their house pride and support, which was a neat idea in my head. And then I found these roof decorations as well that are just little flags. For the most part, they kind of matched the house colors. I couldn't find one that really matched Hufflepuff. There wasn't like a solid black one or even one with more yellow. I felt like the yellow and red one fit Gryffindor, obviously, more than Hufflepuff. So I kind of had to make that sacrifice there. But it is really cool because with Ego Lifestyle, we have a new roof tile that basically is like every color of the rainbow, which is really neat. And I think it's a metal texture. So that's what I used here for all of the roofs. And here I am just going through manually and painting every single tower. I could have copied them all over, but honestly, I think it would take the same amount of time, so I just didn't even bother. But I really liked how it looked. At first, I was a little hesitant just because the blocking looked awkward with it only being a 4-tile square, or, well, technically like an 8-tile square, right? Geometry. It's 2 tiles wide, 2 tiles tall, right? Oh my gosh, I don't even know. 4 tiles, guys. It's 4 tiles. Anyway, I thought it looked really, really weird with the checkering at first, but once all of them were painted, it looked a little bit better. So I can't wait to hear what you guys think of that and kind of like the color choices and some of the creative liberties that I took to try to replicate this in The Sims with what we have. And now I'm working out all of the fencing for the rest of the Quidditch pitch. So like I said, this will all have flooring and it'll have some benches because that's where the fans will sit. And there's no actual access to this, so disclaimer as well, this isn't really a functional lot. I mean, your Sims can go here if they really want to, and there are some brooms located on the property, but it's not something that they can really access. Like, they won't be able to get into this pitch here, which on second thought, I probably should have added some doors. You guys will see later, but I should have added some doors so they could get onto the pitch, but to what end is my question, right? But I don't know. So it's not exactly functional. They can't get up to those tall towers either unless you use like the teleport here cheat that's in game, or if you have like Andrew's teleport pose player thing, like that 2-part mod thing where you can actually just go ahead and teleport Sims to specific locations. And you could do that for like screenshots or just for funsies, right? It could be kind of neat, but yeah, it's not really that functional. But anyway, I kind of painted out the pitch here. So I used the new grass floor tile that we got with Ego Lifestyle to kind of create this. And I thought it looked really groomed, really nice. And then the center pitch here drives me a little crazy because it's definitely not centered because it's an odd number of tiles on the internal part here of the pitch. So the middle couldn't really be in the middle part. Like, I don't know, it's a little weird. It drove me crazy for a while, and I play around with it a little bit, and I was like, nope, just try to ignore it the best you can. And And then I sized up these poles that came with toddler stuff, because these are the poles that go at the end of the string of lights that we got with that stuff pack a while back. And then I take these fountain decorations from like Cool Patio stuff, I believe, or backyard stuff. I can't even remember. It was one of those stuff packs. And I size them up and I place them on the top of these poles to create the little Quidditch hoops, which I thought was perfect. Like, I couldn't have thought of a more perfect item to do that with. And what's great is when I play tested this, which not much play test, but when I play tested it to like take the screenshots and all that fun stuff, I did notice that even though they're fountain decorations, there wasn't like water pouring out of them, even while my sim was actively like moving around and playing on the lot, which I think is really good. I was worried about that for the sake of screenshots, because you can kind of see where the water is supposed to be coming out of. And I've seen these in fountains and kind of how they work. So I was a little concerned, but for the sake of this, they didn't spew any water anywhere, which was really nice. And here I am just copying over the rooms that are quote unquote furnished and basically ensuring that all of the small details were there, because I didn't want to skimp on anything. These corner ones too actually allowed enough space to place like 4 chairs, so I thought that that was kind of nice. It just looked like there was a little bit more seating, and it was just really cool. Like, I was so excited about this, and I know I'm not the first one to make a Quidditch pitch in The Sims 4. There are probably tons of them out there. I haven't really seen any because I haven't gone looking for any. I didn't want to be influenced by anyone else's, replication of this. I didn't want to take anyone else's ideas, so I just went with what I thought worked, and hopefully it kind of resembles a Quidditch pitch, right? And here I am just taking those wall decoration ribbons and placing them on the remaining towers. I did have to kind of keep overlapping them with ones that were already placed because I needed to ensure they were all the same size. It was kind of hard to tell at times, but I thought it looked really, really cool. And I also used that wallpaper on the bottom there of the pitch. I think that's technically a paneling that came with Get Famous. It's like a soundboard or something like that. I don't really know, but I thought it looked really nice because in some of the earlier movies, there isn't the... No, maybe not the first one. I think it was like the second one or the third is when you actually start seeing just like the wood framing at the bottom of the pitch. And in the second one, Harry's down there, bobbing up and down with Malfoy trying to get the snitch like underneath all of the towers and stuff like that. So that's kind of why I ended up going with that wood texture instead of replicating the color all the way down the tower, if that makes sense. I don't know. And now I'm adding an external trim just to kind of dress it up a little bit. And then I pulled this room from Simlissy's gallery. So she made a couple of rooms with like different brooms and stuff like that when we got Realm of Magic. So I grabbed these and I decided to kind of make little like broom cupboards underneath the frame of the Quidditch pitch. And at first I was just going to make them broom cupboards, but then I thought, well, in the movies, they have like tents with tunnels that connect to this bottom part of the pitch because they enter the field kind of through the bottom frame, if that makes any sense. So I made all of these little rooms. I made these little broom cupboards, and then I was like, maybe I'll just put like a bench or two in this little space because that's where kind of, the team hangs out, right? It's very small. It would be a lot of people in a very small space. But I kind of wanted, again, to take some creative liberties and just kind of go with it. So I end up doing that. I swap it out actually with the couch from Realm of Magic, and I add a couple of wall candles just for some authenticity. And I loved using these doors from Get Together as well because I thought they really kind of fit the vibe. I thought that they would probably be perfect for a Hogwarts castle as well. But what I end up doing is I end up connecting kind of all of the rooms. Again, not ideal if the teams are trying to be separate, right? But luckily we don't really have to worry about that because we can't do anything team really related or sports related in The Sims. So here we are. But I really, really, really liked how it came out. I replicate the same thing on the other side as well, just for the sake of symmetry and consistency. And I'm not really sure if your Sims can pull those brooms off the wall. I think they can because they can just place those kinds of objects in their inventory. So if your Sim did come here, granted they don't own the broom, so I guess they can't really just take them, but I don't know. I didn't work out functionality for this build. It's not functional. I don't know what else to say. It's not that functional, but I end up sorting out all of the rooms, and then I go around the entire pitch and just place benches on each of these little spaces here. Again, your Sims can't really get there, but I still liked how it looked, and it was pretty quick and pretty consistent around the entire pitch. I barely used like the move objects on to place them freely, except for on those little corner parts, and that was it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this build. I loved it, and I cannot wait to hear your thoughts, but I will catch you guys next time I post a video, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.